What's up friends, Chook here, and welcome to my top 5 list of mechanics I would like to see added to Bit Heroes. So in this video, we'll go over a few little additions that the devs could add into Bit Heroes to make it a smoother experience and a better experience for everybody. And these are just my own top 5 mechanics that I would like to see added. I'm sure you guys have your own, and if you do, leave them in the comments and we can get a discussion going about them. But here are mine, starting with number 5. Number 5, and starting with something pretty simple, and it's not really going to change the game or anything, but it would be a nice feature for some players and I would appreciate it, is the ability to hide your accessory and pet. So for all those people that are into cosmetics and like fashion heroes and all that type of thing, obviously this would be great. So in the settings here, you can choose to hide your helmet and your mount, or show them. So at the moment I've got my mount off, but if I click this, my mount will pop up like that. And at the moment I'm wearing the balding cap, so if I choose to take my helmet off, then my hair will come up. The ability to do this with your accessory and your pet as well means that you can get rid of this flying pet that always hovers around and whatever accessory you're wearing, which would open up options to have like a cleaner cosmetic if you wanted to just run around, you know, completely naked or whatever cosmetic you wanted. If you didn't have an accessory or pet to suit the look you were going for, you could just get rid of them, hide them, and then that way you could have a smoother look for your cosmetic. So a little simple change there, but the fact that you can hide your helmet and your mount, I don't see why they couldn't also hide your accessory and your pet, or even your offhand. Number 4, equipment sets. Now this will be useful to some people and not too useful to others. Probably really useful for high level players and people that have a lot of gear and lots of different sets of gear, and probably not that useful for newer players, but equipment sets. So what I mean by this is the ability to save an equipment set such as the one I'm wearing right now, with the runes I have equipped, with the enchants I have equipped, everything like that as one set. So they could have just like a little tab up here with like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or just 1 and 2, however many sets, equipment sets they would like to give you access to. And effectively you could just wear all this gear, put on the runes and everything you wanted, and save this as equipment set 1. Then say that you wanted to change up your equipment set and you wanted to wear a different accessory and a different pet, or this is why I was saying it would be particularly useful for high level people. So my main tank on my raid team and a good friend of mine, Eagle Wars, he has a tank set and he has a DPS set. So, you know, rather than having to change all of his gear every single time that he wanted to do PvP or GVG or Gauntlet or Raid or whatever it was, he could just save his PvP set to, you know, 1, he could save his Raid set to 2, he could save his GVG set to 3, etc. And so you could have your runes here, so I've got Empower Chance and 3 Dual Strikes. I could change these to switch. I could put, wrong one, sorry. I could insert a damage reduction, and I could put a damage reduction in here and maybe a reflect here or whatever, and save that with some gear here as my tank set, for instance. So rather than having to choose and change every single piece of gear and every rune and every enchant every time that you wanted to go from tank to DPS, or even from DPS to bait, or if you wanted to throw on you know, a staff. And then I've got this mythic down here from last tier. Where is he? This one, Bedlam, increases the potency of her healing skills by 8%. So, you know, I could throw that on and a staff on and become a healer. Rather than having to manually do that, I could just save it as, you know, healer slot 2, for instance. And then I could just go DPS is 1, click, okay, I want to be a healer for a bit, click 2, and it would automatically save and change everything on the fly. I just think that would be super handy, super helpful, and save a lot of time, and it's just an easy way of managing your gear and swapping sets. So that is number 4, equipment sets. Number 3, improved chat. This will help everybody. So at the moment, if you want to talk to someone, you either have to go to your friends list and click on their name and go to message, and it will come up with this big bulky message box, and it's annoying as hell, right? And then if you're talking to 2 or 3 different people, you have to put them on different parts of the room, parts of the screen I should say, so that you can see what's going on and chat to multiple people at once. And if people aren't on your friends list, and they're in your guild, you then have to go to guild and go to members, and it's clunky and it's awkward and everybody kind of hates it. So what they could do is in the chat here, we've got guild chat and we've got world chat. So I've muted world chat because it's cancer and I hate it. But normally you would have world chat going on here, and then you would have guild chat. What they could do is they could add a third tab over here called like friends or players or something. And then you could click on that, and let's just imagine that this is it. You could then have tabs on the side here, and they could be your friends. So you would have a tab here, and so say we wanted to talk to Scissors, Kelp Juice, and Gemini Punch. Right, we were talking to them, everything's all good. You would go to your friends or players or whatever they want to call it here, click on it, and imagine this is it. You could have Scissors here as a tab, Kelp Juice here as a tab, Gemini Punch here as a tab, and you could just click in between the chats, be like, hey, what's up? Hey, if I could type, what's up? And then, you know, click that. And then you could go and click on the next tab and chat to the next person. It wouldn't pop up when someone sent a message. It wouldn't pop up on your screen and take up a lot of room. For myself, when I'm recording, a lot of the times people will chat to me and ask advice or just say hi or whatever, which is great. And I'm always happy to talk to everybody. But when I'm recording, it can be a little distracting or slightly irritating if I'm trying to make a video and people are trying to talk to me. And I usually have to, you know, drag their, so if we go to Slayer, for instance, drag their chat box down here and close it, and then that way if they message me again, it opens up but down here and not in front of the big screen, and it's just clunky. The way the chat is currently now is clunky. The other additional benefit of that is you could leave people offline messages. So if I wanted to talk to, let's go down here, if I wanted to talk to Richard C right now, can't do it. But what you could do is you could have it so that you could go into here and go message, for instance, and then that would bring up the message bit on your friends or people list, and it would just bring up another tab here, Richard C, and then I could be like, hey man, when you're online, let me know, I've got something to ask you or something, and you could leave people offline messages. Rather than have all the messages pop up on your screen all over the place and you're trying to juggle them and it's just a hot mess of a system, having its own dedicated tab with tabs on the side for all of your different people that you're talking to would make a hell of a lot of sense and would just streamline the chat in this game a hell of a lot, and I think it would be super, super helpful. Number 2, a smash option. So in a lot of online games and mobile games, there is a smash option. What I mean by that is the ability to complete a raid or a gauntlet or a dungeon or something like that with the click of a button. So you don't have to sit there and play the whole thing out. As long as if you completed it in the past, you can go and press smash option and it will come up with the rewards at the end. So there would have to be limitations to this, as there is the ability to for party members to die in this, and you need to spend potions and things to revive them. There would have to be limitations on this, but I'm sure that they could introduce a smash option to the game. Now, one limitation they would need to make is the amount of smashes that you could do. Now, I don't think this is a good way for pay-to-play to get an advantage. I think everyone should have the same amount of smashes available to them, no matter if they play free to play or pay to win or whatever it be. So the thought process I had for this would be to limit it to 1 or 2 per thing each day. So for instance, if you limited two raid smashes a day. So at the moment I've got 8 because my guild perks lets me have 8 raid shards a day. But when you first start off, you have 2. So if you were able to complete, let's say you were just starting the game and you were able to complete Astra's Awakening raid 1 on normal. That's great, and you've done it, and everything's perfect. Then you could then go in here and click normal, and then click the smash option, and it would complete all of the raid 1 on normal for you in, you know, a click of a finger, and you would get all the loot and everything at the end. So obviously capture rate comes into that, and you know, legendaries and set pieces and all those things come into raids. So what I would suggest that they do, if they decide to make a smash option, is that if you did this, you would click on normal, you would click smash. At the end, there would be a screen that would come up and it would tell you, you have looted these items, and it would list them, you know, here are the common ones you got, here are the rare ones you got, here are the epic ones you got, and then any legendaries or whatever would come in next. Then after that, it would say, these merchants showed up, do you want to buy this from this merchant? And you would get the option to buy anything from the merchant that showed up. This skeletal chest showed up, do you want to open it? And so all of the options that you got along through that raid, through RNG and all the coding and everything, would come up the end and give you options. it might say like Ragnar came up for persuasion, you know, and then you have the option to throw gold or throw gems to persuade him. Same thing, Astaroth came up. Would you like to persuade him, or would you like to bribe him, or would you like to ignore him, etc. So you still get the same amount of mechanics in each of the raids or whatever it is that you're doing. It just does it automatically and completes the raid for you at the click of a button, and at the end you can choose, it shows you what you've looted, and you can choose whether you want to open the chest, bribe the people, whatever it is that potentially comes up. Now, if you could smash everything, this game would just be a joke, and you know, you wouldn't need to really do anything. You just log in, you'd press smash, and the game would be done. That's why I'm saying maybe 2 raids a day, or maybe even 1 raid a day would be a good option. Maybe 1 gauntlet or trial a day, and maybe 1 dungeon a day. You could just do the smash button for, and it would just allow people that have a little less time to play the game to be able to log on, just do a smash. If they've only got like a couple of minutes to play while they're, you know, waiting at the bus stop or something like that, they can just get in, smash, get some loot, and you know, just speed the process up a little bit. So that's my idea for Smash. Obviously, like I said, there would be limitations and they'd have to figure out how to do it, but a lot of other mobile games have a Smash option. This game does not. And considering the higher level you get, the more, you know, energy and raid shards and all the rest of it you get with raid perks and stuff, it can take quite an amount of time to get through all of the stuff that you need to do every day. So I think a Smash option could be handy if implemented in the right way. Number 1, daily quests. So when you log in each day, you get your login bonus, whether it be some mount guts or a skeleton key or some gems or a potion or something like that. And every 10 days you get a free ability point to use on your character, whether you put it into strength, stamina, or speed. And you also get your bounties refresh. You get 2 bounties every day. So what I mean by daily quests is kind of like a combination of both. And a lot of the mobile games that I've played in the past and continue to play to this day, as well as online MMOs and games like World of Warcraft and Star Wars The Old Republic and things like that, have daily quests. And I think it would be super helpful for bit heroes as well. So what do I mean by daily quest? I mean something like this. So let's say that you had 5 criteria that you had to meet every day. And let's say that every day's daily quests are the exact same daily quest. So it's just the same 5 criteria that you have to meet every single day. And the criteria could be complete 2 raids, complete 2 world bosses, complete 2 trials / gauntlet, win 2 PvP battles, and complete 2 dungeons. Let's say you do all those 5 things every day. You'll get tick, 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 and that will give you the daily quest reward. And the daily quest reward could be, let's say hypothetically, 50 gems, right? So say you did your 2 raids, your 2 world bosses, your 2 gauntlets, you won your 2 PvP battles, and you did your 2 dungeons. Every day you would get 50 gems. This would be amazingly helpful for free-to-play players such as myself. That would give you access to more gems, and you would be less reliant on Overworld. Overworld can be good. It can also be really bad. You can do, you know, offers that take 3 or 4 days and then just never get paid out the result. And it can just be tedious. This will allow free-to-play players get a lot more gems for free, and it will just help everybody, including the pay-to-play players. They'll just get more gems for free as well. So it's a good way of helping the community get those gems for a little bit less steep investment than the Overworld. So let's say you did your 5 criteria and you got your 50 gems. If you did that every day for a week, so 5 times 7 is 50, 100, 150, 200, 250, 300, 350 gems. You would get 350 gems a week just by doing these daily logins. That might be a bit steep, maybe 30 gems, maybe 20, maybe 40, maybe 50. Obviously it's up to the devs if they choose to go on with this idea, but this is just a hypothetical. If you did that every day, you would get 350 gems a week. Considering that the pet, it's a large defensive pet or offensive pet, so a large pet egg and a large accessory box on sale is about 800 gems. You would only need to do 2 weeks worth of your daily quests to be able to afford one of them. Now, if you're a player that, like myself, that comes on and plays every day and you complete all of your raids, all of your world bosses, all your gauntlets, all your PvP, your quests, everything, and you play the game to its full potential, you will also be getting, you know, the normal gems that you would be getting by playing the game regardless. But if you're one of those players that can only log in for, say, 20 minutes a day here and there. You know, maybe you log in for an hour one day and then you can't play for 2 days. Or maybe you've only got 10 minutes while you're at a bus stop or something like that, as I mentioned with the smash option, then this would be really useful. So if you were able to only log in for an hour, as I mentioned, you could just focus on this daily quest, right? Oh shit, I'll just quickly get 2 raids done, I'll get 2 world bosses done, I'll get 2 gauntlets done, I'll get 2 PvP wins done, and I'll get 2 dungeons done. That will net me my free 50 gems for the day. That's all I've got time for. Log off, come back the next day, do the same thing. Now, the only thing that they would have to kind of design around this would be that smash option that I mentioned in number 2. They would have to make it so the smash option didn't apply to these daily quests. Otherwise, you would just go in, you would do your smash, and you would automatically get your daily quest just by smashing, and it would take you about 30 seconds. So it would have to be, the daily quest would have to be exclusive of the smash option. You couldn't, if you did a smash, it wouldn't count. So that way you would have to at least invest, you know, 20 minutes or whatever it is, half an hour maybe, to do these daily quests. But the reward being 50 gems would be totally worth it. And as I mentioned, if you did that every day for a week, you would get 350 gems a week just by playing the game and doing, you know, the minimum requirement each day to get those 350 gems. Super useful for free to play, as I said, but useful for everybody. And the fact that they've got a login bonus each day, which really isn't that much to write home about, like, you know, 5 mount guts once a week, 1 skeleton key once a week, that type of thing. It's not really that much. And these bounties can be done across as much time as you possibly want. I could have this defeat 30 opponents in PvP here until next year if I never completed it. This way, this is something to try and do every single day. It would get those players that are slightly inactive to log in, have more of an incentive for those inactive players to log in every day. And I think it would just help the community overall have a higher retention of player base, and also kind of fix those off-the-wall issues where people aren't getting paid out, and help with that gem farming. So yeah, daily quests. So there you go. There are my top 5 improvements I would like to see made to Bit Heroes. Now, some of them, such as the cosmetic, accessory, and pet, you know, it's not really going to change the world or change the way you play the game. But some of them, such as the daily quests and the ability to have equipment sets and things like that, would help out quite a bit, I think. Let me know in the comments what you think of this list, and if you have your own list or your own improvements you would like to see put in the game. Also write them in the comments as well, and we can get a discussion going. And you know, if the devs get wind of it or something, maybe they'll add them in. Who knows? I also have one more bonus improvement to the game, which was from a YouTube comment from a subscriber of mine, Hinata Hyuga. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. I'm probably not. I apologize if that's the case, but she writes, "I wish when we click on a monster, it can show up the dungeon where you get it." So what she means by that is, if you go into this familiar list here, and you click on a familiar, so if we go down to Pengi, here we go, we click on him, and it will show you his stats, and it will show you his abilities and things like that, but it doesn't, and a description of him, but it doesn't actually show you where he comes from, which makes you have to go back to the wiki and look up, you know, Pengi on the familiar list, and it'll say Zone 2 Dungeon 1. So what would be cool is if, what she's saying is if they had a little text thing up here that would say like Zone 2 or Zone Wintermarsh, and then Dungeon 1 or Yeti's Tundra or whatever it's called. And then that way you know that if you're looking for this Pengi guy, you can just go to Wintermarsh, Yeti's Tundra, or Zone 2 Dungeon 1. And you won't have to go back and look at the wiki all the time. You can just go in and go, okay, I need, you know, I need Findle, for instance. Where does Findle come from? And it will come up saying, you know, Zone 8, Dungeon 1, for instance. And you go, okay, I know exactly where to go, and you can go there straight away without having a look at the wiki. Super helpful, super good idea, and I think that they should definitely implement that as well. So there you go. There's a bonus improvement from a subscriber of mine. And I think that's a really, really good idea. I didn't want to take credit for that. I definitely wanted to give her a shout out because that's a super good idea. And hopefully they implement that as well. So there you go. That's all the improvements I've got. As I said, let me know in the comments your thoughts. And hopefully you enjoyed that. As always, thanks for watching. And I will see you next time. If you like this video, click here to see another one just like it. If you're new to the channel and like what I'm doing, click here to subscribe and become the newest member of the Chicken Coop. If you really like what I'm doing, you can find a link to my Patreon in the description, where you can help support me and help the channel grow. You'll also find a link to the channel's Discord server where you can chat with me and other members of the Chicken Coop. And don't forget to hit that notification bell.